Good evening. It's April 23rd, 2024, and we're in our next collection of discussions in our Outside the Class series. It's another series from Mackie. It's called Eat This Book. On TheDustyFeet.com, in the Outside the Class section, we have the Eat This Book source video section set up for review. Because the intent of Outside the Class is for you to listen to the in-class lecture first. That would be in the source video playlist. We try to keep these to about 15 to 20 minutes or so. Make them easy to catch and easier to catch up on. So we're going to continue with our Eat This Book series with Israel's Exile hitting bottom on Outside the Class on the Dusty Feet. And before we forget, if you find these kinds of podcasts useful, when you click the subscribe button. The reminders, they just help you. But also, if you think these might be useful to others, that's when you click that like button, because that is the way that YouTube chooses to share these to more people, if they wish. Eat This Book. Israel's Exile Hitting Bottom, Part 3. So tonight, I want to put it in reference and in context a set of verses from the scroll of Deuteronomy. You know, we love and live for the promise of God. We call upon the promises of God. We build our faith on the promises of God. But I want to put it out there for something to ponder a bit, that I'll contend that many of God's promises are a two-sided coin. The promise is the coin, and on one side is a blessing, the other side is the curse. God gave us the coin. So it seems we are the ones to determine which side is redeemed. We love the blessing promised God. We're just not so fond of the curse promising God. The Israelites, they're hitting rock bottom. They are conquered, scattered, spread around the known empires. This is not a surprise. And to make it clear, this will take a little time, but I believe the context of what we're talking about and where we are, this is an important point to bring up. Deuteronomy chapter 28. This is the reason that we're here. It's why we're where we are. That promise of God, He has kept His word. He has shown His integrity, no matter how hard or hurtful for Him. This God of Deuteronomy chapter 28 is our God. Let us never forget that. Justice and honor. His name will be known for His promises. So, let's take a listen to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28. These are the blessings for obedience. Now it shall be, if you diligently obey the Lord, being careful to do all His commands which I commanded you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations of the earth. All these blessings will come upon you and overtake you if you obey the Lord your God. Blessed shall you be in the city. Blessed shall you be in the country. Blessed shall be the offspring of your body, and the produce of your ground, and the offspring of your beasts, the increase of your herd, and the increase of your young flock. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall be when you come in. Blessed shall be when you go out. The Lord shall cause your enemies to rise up against you to be defeated before you. They shall come out against you one way and will flee before you 7 ways. The Lord will command the blessing upon you in your barns and in all that you put your hand to. He will bless you in the land which the Lord your God gives you. The Lord will establish you as a holy people to Himself, as He swore to you, if you keep the commandments of the Lord your God and walk in His ways. So all the peoples of the earth will see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they will be afraid of you. The Lord will make you abound in prosperity, in the offspring of your body, in the offspring of your beast, in the produce of your ground, in the land which the Lord swore to your fathers to give you. The Lord will open for you his good storehouse, the heavens, to give rain to your land in its season, and bless all the work of your hard hand, and you shall lend many to the nations. You shall not borrow. The Lord will make you the head and not the tail, and you only will be above. You will not be underneath. If you listen to the commandments of the Lord your God, which I charge you today, to observe them carefully, and do not turn aside from any of the words which I've commanded you today to the left or to the right, or go after other gods to serve them. The curses for disobedience. But it shall come about that if you do not obey the Lord your God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I charge you today, that all these curses will come upon you and overtake you. Cursed shall be you in the city, cursed shall be you in the country, cursed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed shall be the offspring of your body and the produce of your ground, the increase of your herd and the young of your flock. Cursed shall you be when you come in, cursed shall you be when you go out. God will send upon you curses, confusion, rebuke in all you undertake to do, until you are destroyed, until you perish quickly, on the account of the evil of your deeds, because you have forsaken me. The Lord will make the pestilence cling to you until he has consumed you from the land where you are entering to possess it. The Lord will smite you with consumption, and with fever, and with inflammation, and with a fiery heat, and with the sword, and with blight, and with mildew, and they shall pursue you until you perish. The heaven which is over your head shall be bronze, and the earth under you iron. The Lord will make the rain of your land powder and dust. From heaven it shall come down to you until you are destroyed. The Lord shall cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will go one way against them, and you will flee 7 ways before them. You will be an example of terror to all the kingdoms of the earth. Your carcasses will be food to all the birds of the sky, to the beasts of the earth. There will be no one to frighten them away. The Lord will smite you with the boils of Egypt, with the tumors and with the scab and the itch from which you cannot be healed. The Lord will smite you with madness, with blindness, and the bewilderment of heart. You will grope at noon as the blind man gropes in darkness. You will not prosper in your ways. You shall only be oppressed and robbed continually, with none to save you. You shall betroth a wife, but another man will violate her. You will build a house, but you will not live in it. You shall plant a vineyard, but you shall not use its fruit. Your ox shall be slaughtered before your eyes, but you will not eat it. Your donkey will be torn away from you and will not be restored to you. Your sheep shall be given to your enemies, and you will have none to save you. Your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, while your eyes look upon and yearn for them continually, but there will be nothing you can do. A people whom you do not know shall eat up the produce of your ground and all your labors, and you will never be anything but oppressed and crushed continually. You shall be driven mad by the sight of what you see. The Lord will strike you on the knees and the legs with sore boils from which you cannot be healed, and from the sole of your foot to the crown of your head. The Lord will bring you and your king, whom you set over you, to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known, and there you shall serve other gods, wood and stone. You shall become a horror, a proverb, a taunt amongst all the people where the Lord drives you. You shall bring out much seed to the field, but you will gather in little, for the locust will consume it. You shall plant and cultivate vineyards, but you will neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worm will devour them. You shall have olive trees throughout your territory, but you will not anoint yourself with the oil, for your olives will drop off. You shall have sons and daughters, but they will not be yours, for they will go into captivity. The cricket shall possess all of your trees and the produce of your ground. The alien who was among you shall rise above you higher and higher, but you will go down lower and lower. He shall lend to you, but you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head. You will be the tail. So all these curses shall come upon you and pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you would not obey the Lord your God, keeping his commandments and his statutes which he commanded you. They will become a sign and a wonder on you and your descendants forever, because you did not serve the Lord your God with joy and a glad heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore, you shall serve your enemies whom the Lord will send against you in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, and the lack of all things, and he will put an iron yoke on your neck until he has destroyed you. God will bring a nation against you from afar, from the end of the earth, as the eagle swoops down, a nation whose language you shall not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, who will have no respect for the old, nor show favor for the young. Moreover, it shall eat the offspring of your herd and the produce of your ground until you are destroyed. Who also gives you no grain, new wine, or oil, nor the incense of your herd, nor the young of your flock, until they have caused you to perish. It shall besiege you in all your towns, until your high and fortified walls, which you trusted, come down throughout your land. And it shall besiege you in all your towns throughout your land, which the Lord your God has given you. Then you shall eat the offspring of your own body, the flesh of your sons and your daughters, whom the Lord your God has given you, during the siege and the distress by which your enemies will oppress you. The man who is refined and very delicate among you shall be hostile towards his brother, toward the wife he cherishes, toward the rest of his children who remain, so that he will not give even one of them any of the flesh of his children which he will eat, since he has nothing else left. During the siege and the distress by which your enemy will oppress you in all of your towns. The refined and delicate woman among you, who would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and refinement, shall be hostile toward the husband she cherishes, and toward her son and daughter, and toward her afterbirth, which issues from between her legs, and toward her children whom she bears. She will eat them secretly for lack of anything else, during the siege and the distress by which your enemy will oppress you in your towns. If you are not careful to observe all the words which this law is written in this book, to fear this honored and awesome name, the Lord your God, then the Lord will bring extraordinary plagues upon you and your descendants, even severe and lasting plagues, and miserable and chronic sickness. He will bring back on you all the diseases of Egypt of which you were afraid, and they will cling to you. Also, every sickness and every plague which, not written in the book of the law, the Lord will bring upon you until you are destroyed. Then you shall be left few in number, whereas you were as numerous as the stars of heaven, because you did not obey the Lord your God. It shall come about that the Lord delighted over you and prosper you and multiply you, so the Lord will delight over you to make you perish and destroy you. You will be torn from the land where you are entering to possess it. Moreover, the Lord will scatter you among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. And there you shall serve other gods, wood and stone, which you and your fathers have not known. Among those nations you shall find no rest, and there will be no resting place for the sole of your foot. But there the Lord will give you a trembling heart, failing eyes, and despair of soul. So your life shall hang in doubt before you, and you shall be in dread night and day, and shall have no assurance of your life. And in the morning you shall say, would it that it were evening. At evening you shall say, would it that it were morning, because of the dread of your heart, which you dread, and for the sight of your eyes, which you will see. The Lord will bring you back to Egypt in ships, by the way about which I spoke to you. You will never see it again, and therefore you will offer yourselves to the sale of your enemies, male and female, but there will be no buyers. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the sons of Israel in the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them at Horeb. Okay, so I always want us to remember, as in never forget, that God is a God of his word. And also remember that phrase, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We're aware that this passage is filled with metaphors and analogies. It's also filled with truth, fact. There's a divorce also in breaking this covenant. Yet there's also more to this story. It's the calling back, the redemption, the marriage again, the Messiah. His will, it will be done, but we need to embrace that we get all of God. The stories tell it true. So it seems history as well. Maybe with that, as we listened to Deuteronomy chapter 28, we have a better glimpse as to why we're here and where do we go from here. This is the promise keeper, God keeping his word, as we always expect him to do. It's just at times we don't like it, but it is God at his best, really, because he, with all of the pain of the exile, he stays the course. And again, we saw the same from his son in the end. So thanks for with us tonight on another edition of Outside the Class, Israel's Exile, hitting bottom on the Dusty Feet.